Konnichiwa, I'm back, and with a t-shirt. Anyway, this time I'm going to be talking about a 2000 horror film from Japan called Uzumaki. It's based on a manga by Junji Ito, who he's an icon in horror manga. The manga itself was first serialized in a magazine devoted to all things manga and anime at 1998 through 1999. It's like a monthly thing. And within that same time frame, it was also published in a 3-volume bound book series. The film Uzumaki translates literally to spiral. That's kind of key. It was Akihiro Higuchi's directorial debut. He worked with Ito on it. It takes place in a very small seaside village in Japan. You know, one of those places everybody knows everybody else. The main characters are Kirie, who's a high school student in the town, and her boyfriend, Shurichi, who attends school outside of town. But it's cute, and you know, you see her, she goes and she waits for him to come back from school every day. She's very, I don't know, like hopeful. She just has this like hopeful kind of thing going on. Shurichi's a little jaded. He comes off as just jaded. Anyway, they notice some odd behavior happening among the people who live in the village. One being Shurichi's father, who Kirie spots one day videotaping a snail moving on a fence post. But he's like uber close. And every time she sees him, and Shurichi also tells her, he's become obsessed with spirals in all forms. Even at home, there's a scene where he's eating, his wife's made dinner and he's eating, and there's a type of radish. It's long and thin and sliced up. It's got spiral. Typically you'll find that in like a miso soup. He just eats and eats and eats, like he's taking in the spirals, and gets mad at her because there is no more. He ate it all. He dies in pretty spectacular fashion, I might add. Oh my goodness. Pretty bizarre, but it's so much fun. But then they know, you know, they're at the funeral and everything, and then they're cremating him, because that's typically what they do in most East Asian countries. And the smokestack, as they're cremating the father, is the spiral. It's smoke is just spiraling up in the sky. Mom freaks out. She has a breakdown, ends up going to the hospital. But other things start really happening that are weird, like in school. Some of Kirie's classmates begin exhibiting really strange behavior, like very slow moving. They're covered in slime. They're drinking just gallons and gallons of water. It's like they can't get enough water. And some of them you can see like a spiral, like a snail's spiral growing out of their back. Ultimately, this ends up happening to everyone. You know, there's like the popular girl at school. It's her hair is all over the place. Spirals going in all directions. You see some of the classmates, you can actually see them like they've turned into snails, like giant snails, and they're climbing up the side of the school building. Kyrie seems to be taking all this kind of in stride. I don't know, she's not completely freaked out about it. Shuichi keeps trying to get her to leave with him though. Like, he's convinced something bad's happening, the town's cursed, they don't know what it is, it's an ancient curse, who knows. But they do, at some point they try to leave, but they can't. It's also, this strange phenomenon has gotten out to the areas outside this village, and a news crew is sent to document what's going on, and they get it on film, and they're all kind of freaked out. They try to leave, they can't leave. Nobody can leave now. Like, once you're there, you are there. So for all Shuichi trying to get Kyrie to leave, it ain't happening. There's also, which is really weird, a tsunami warning hits at the same time. Coincidence? I mean, again, they're turning into snail-like creatures, and they're just sucking up gallons and gallons of water. It's, I don't know, it's the only way I can really describe Kyrie. I mean, not that she doesn't seem, she's very passive, but she brings like a hope that, okay, maybe we can fix this, or we can figure out what's going on, and we can stop it, or whatever it is, you know. And incidentally, the film is told entirely from her point of view. So, only survivor? Possibly. It's hard to describe it. I guess you could describe it maybe as eco-horror. It's not about scares, it's about atmosphere. And it's very, it's the atmosphere is pretty wild. I've always felt like the film is just kind of bathed in this very eerie wash of like green. You know, like when you're outside in the middle of summer, and a thunderstorm's coming, and the way the light hits with the clouds, the gray thunder clouds rolling in, and it's just, everything gets that like eerie kind of greenish wash to it. That's this film, the whole thing. There is a scientist, not a scientist, I'm sorry, a reporter who tries to help Kyrie and Shuichi figure out what's going on. You know, it seems like everybody becomes a victim of this curse. It's ambiguous, it's dark, it's very bleak though. It's very bleak, because you just don't see how this could possibly end well. And, you know, again, that leaves the ending ambiguous, but that's pretty common in Asian horror films. You know, a lot of ambiguity, kind of leave you guessing. Ito had said initially, what he was doing with the manga was like subverting symbols that would be shown by Japanese media in like a positive light, and he was, you know, subverting that, making it, you know, kind of scary, kind of negative. But like the main theme is basically these, you know, you got these two kids, and they're trying to figure out something mysterious that's so much bigger than themselves, and there's no way they can possibly get out of this. It's very cryptic. It's, I've the way I've seen it is, it's like the way almost any town is constructed. It's everything's very square. You know, the houses, terraced houses that people are living in, they're all like very squared. You know, walls blocking things off, and the spiral is more. It's like a natural kind of thing. You know, like it obviously it occurs naturally. You know, with snails. You know, and the food. You know, like I said, that's that radish, that special kind of radish. I'm not sure what it is. I've never eaten it, but it almost looks like a watermelon radish, but it's long and thin as opposed to round. It's kind of, I think what really makes it eerie is that it's almost it's like taking the familiar and creating something completely bizarre and taking you out of your like safe space, which you know you would perceive as your safe space, your home. That's supposed to be your safe space, and it's like your home is turning on you, and it's no longer a safe place to be. And it's like never ending because it just keeps going and going and going, and there isn't anything Kyrie or Shuichi can do about it. So that's where I kind of think, at least looking at it now in 2024, it's I would call it kind of eco horror, but definitely more atmosphere than scares. You know, no real jump scares, but the visuals, some of the visuals are amazing, absolutely amazing. They worked fantastic. Just another film, I highly recommend it. I mean, I'm sure some of you out there have not only seen the film, but you've also read the manga, which you can do. You can, it's still available. You can actually, the books are still available to read. You can probably find them on like Amazon or something. But you can read it for free online. So if you feel like reading it, it is, they made 2 video games based on the manga. Viz Media here in the United States have actually made an anime series on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim, the Toonami that they do on Saturday nights or Friday nights, one or the other. That's scheduled for September of this year. So next month, hopefully, I'll get to see it. The film streams online. As a matter of fact, I think you can even watch it on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, I really like the film. It's you know, it gets into a lot of like it's disorienting. It's very bleak. You know, but again, it only covers the first volume. If you read the manga, it goes deeper, much deeper into what's happening. But the movie in and of itself is just fantastic. It works because, again, a lot of Japanese horror, Asian horror in general, will have those very ambiguous endings to them where you kind of go, huh? So it does work. And because it's being told from Kirie's point of view, you have to assume she survived somehow. But it's a really great flick. I love it. I love the manga as well. I'm a big fan of Junji Ito. I highly recommend it. You should definitely see it. If you have, and you got anything to say about it, got any comments, leave them below, because I'll be reading them. Let me know what you think, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.